Let's continue on the air coolers regarding Cooler Master Series Hyper this time as well. Even though this one doesn't even resemble to a Hyper series in general. And as you can see, I have a white box right here. It came in this box. It didn't came in any of their regular purple-black combination of boxes and packaging and stuff like that. But regardless, we have an MA612 Apex, which stands for Master Airflow. But on their website, it says Hyper 612 Apex. So it goes into Hyper series, but it kind of goes into that segment where it goes more into stealth mode. It's 30% lower than the past generation 612 Stealth Apex. And definitely looks amazing for you guys that don't like RGB. Sorry for the RAM, sorry for the GPU, but this was the same build that I used for other Hyper coolers, so I just wanted to continue with that and didn't want to change anything just to get a better comparison in those terms. So as I stated, Cooler Master Hyper MA612 Apex, or should I call it MA? Should I just go with Hyper 612 Apex? Regardless of that, we have two 120 MOBIUS black fans. Now these fans are insane with specifications, and I'll tell you all of that quite shortly, of course. Easy installation, definitely easiest installation when we're talking about the AM5 processor and socket in general. And talking about the fans, you don't have any clips. And that's outstanding. I'm really digging this cooler because it looks insanely clean, without a doubt. Minimalism is just screaming in this one, without a doubt, because you have a full black cover, top cover, then you have grayish part on the side and no RGB. So this is outstanding for you guys that really love something stealthier in that sense. I mean, let's be honest, the past version was called Stealth, so here we go. Now, when we go into details regarding the cooler, what we got here is a single tower air cooler with two MOBIUS fans, as already stated. We have 6 heat pipes, which are in-house design, so it could be interesting. And what else? PWM connection for both fans, and you get, I don't know why, maybe it was a mistake, but I got 2 Y splitters for the PWM. I got the cryo fuse, here we go, 2 grams of thermal paste, which proved to be quite solid. In terms of, first of all, the density is very thick. So when you try to place it on the CPU, even in this position, it won't just drizzle down from the CPU. It will stay on the position where you placed it. So that's really good. Not in terms of doing it as I did, but in general, it's kind of better to have more density. Might be good for thermal dissipation in general, but okay. So I need to mention those special features that it has. As I already stated, we have 30% smaller design than its previous generation. In-house design heat pipes, enhanced visual design when we're talking about the stealth visuals and everything all together, blackout stealth aesthetics, as I already mentioned, dual MOBIUS 120p fans, removable top cover for easy installation and maintenance, which is, I'll get to that part quite shortly, definitely will not interfere with RAMs. As you can see, it's really clear towards the RAMs, even the RGB higher profile, they don't interfere. And finally, we have 5-year warranty. Now, for some specs, we have exterior color black completely, except for the rims for the MOBIUS fans. Then we have compatibility LG 1851, 1700, 1200, and so on and so on. AMD AM4 and AM5. Dimensions are 127, 114, 159. So it's really compact. It's really compact, and the density between the fins is insane when we're talking about the heatsink. Fan size 120, non-RGB, 2 pieces, and they go up from 0 to 2400 RPMs, plus minus 10%. Airflow is 75.2 CFM at maximum, which is outstanding because this is 5 CFM higher than what we had so far. Then we have air pressure at 3.63 millimeters HO at maximum. Mean time before failure is above 200,000 hours. Noise level is 30 decibels at maximum, which is solid. So these MOBIUS fans have LDB oil return bearings. Now this is interesting because it continues, this is why you get such high durability and above 200,000 hours. Usually I think it's 100,000 to 160. These are above 200,000. This is insane. Power consumption is 2.16 watts, and the dimensions of the fans 120 times 120 times 25. So basically that's everything that I could dig out from the specs and features for the cooler. But regarding installation process, as I stated, it's really easy. So you do have to remove the original retention brackets. And to be honest, if you don't remove them, you won't get that better performance. Let's be honest. So when you remove those retention brackets, you place 4 screws that are actually some sort of a screw slash standoffs. After that, we place 2 retention brackets and tie them up with 2 screws each. And that's basically it. You place your thermal paste, cryofuse on the processor, you remove the plastic foil from the cold plate, place the cooler. Well, first you have to remove the fans, of course. Place the heatsink on the CPU and tie evenly the screws on the locking plate. And finally, you return the fans back. When you return the fans back, you have to connect the PWM headers to the Y splitter, just so you don't occupy too much PWM headers, and of course so you get even RPM rotation. Basically, that makes more sense. And return this plastic cover, because this is it. It has 4 magnets here on the side. You place it back. Here we go. That's it. It's easy as it is, as I said. And for Intel sockets, the only thing that I notice is that it has backplate. That might be the only difference. And of course, you don't have those screw standoffs that you had to place for AM5 or AM4, because you already have those some similar on the backplate. So yeah. Now for the benchmarks, and it did perform really good, I do have to say. In AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, 92 degrees on the CPU, which was kind of solid. I mean, most of the air coolers hit that with AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D. Then we have clock speed at 4900 megahertz. GPU went up to 71. Regardless, that's totally irrelevant. But then we go to Cinebench. It starts at 87. It goes to 86. It finishes at 85, eventually touching 86 again. But the average is somewhere around 85.5 degrees in those 10 benchmarks. Then we go with clock speed, 5000 megahertz, eventually going down to 4975. And then the biggest shocker of them all, 26,354 Cinebench points at first run. Then we have in the 4th and 5th going above 400. And then it circulates around 400, 300. So when you take into consideration that it reaches really high clock, well, first of all, high clock speeds on the CPU with solid thermals. I mean, let's be honest, 85 on this processor is outstanding. We had coolers reaching 89, maybe some 90, 91, and then definitely with those thermals, they didn't get those Cinebench points. So what I wanted to say, it does create certain noise at maximum RPMs. Of course, they stated 30 decibels. I can't measure it, unfortunately, but it does create certain noise. I think somewhere around 75% of the fan speed, you would get almost dead silent air cooler that will perform quite well. And in those terms, I think it will drop Cinebench points about 200, and it would still be outstanding. So all in all, what I can say is that Hyper MA612 Apex, or however they will call it at the end, because as I stated, on their website, it says Hyper 612 Apex, and I'm gonna call it that way, regardless of MA right here. So yeah, that's it, guys. The link is in the description to give you more information, or if I find a link where to buy it, if it gives you more idea on the price or anything similar to that, because I couldn't find it at this moment while recording the video. So yeah, that'll be all for today, guys. The link is in the description, as I stated, and that'll be all for today. See you tomorrow in a new video. Bye bye.